What's up, you guys? It's Jake Carnes and I'm back with another YouTube video. It's been a minute. This video specifically is painting on another skateboard. I'm doing the Ninja Turtles this time. If you haven't seen the other YouTube videos of me doing, painting on the skateboard as well, I'm gonna link it up top so you can check them out. Go ahead, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on them. Let me know if you want to see one specifically. But yeah, to start, the very first thing I'm doing is sketching. The idea is to have the turtles kind of just like dropping into action, so they're gonna look all stacked up on each other. This stage is just sketching, so you're gonna draw very loose, very quick, very free, kind of just put the composition down and see if it works. After that comes the gesso. I use clear gesso when I already have the painting down, or the drawing in this case. That way I can still see the pencil marks. Here I have my little assistant. I'm teaching her how to apply gesso. If you don't know, I do have a video for that as well. 2 to 3 coats, very light, very even coats. Looks a little crazy in this video. Anyway, after that, blocking in. I start with the background because it's the bigger part, and then I move on to the characters. And that way I don't have to worry about cutting into the characters right away. Base colors first, greens, browns, blues, and then I can start working in the lights and darks and all the values, adjusting, working with the different shades and tints of the colors. If you can see, in some areas I even adjust the size of the head or the size of the arms because it just ended up being sketched in too big or something. In this stage you kind of just block in colors and then work your way through it. At least this is how I do it. There's different ways to approach this. Whatever way you decide to approach is the one that works best for you, and that's awesome. As for the paints that I use and the brushes that I do use a variety of brushes, mostly Princeton Select brushes because I like the sizes, but I do have different brands. And as for the paints, I do use a lot of Golden. I will have links to the products on my description box down below, so make sure you check that out. Alright, so here's the thing. It's 1:40 in the morning, and I was just going through my camera because I noticed that I haven't worked on this Ninja Turtle board in a while, and the last time I recorded anything was in July. What is that, like 2.5 months, 3 months? It really depends on when you're watching this video, but as of this recording, it's almost 3 months now. And the reason I haven't painted anything, not only because there's life stuff going on and just daily stuff that comes up that takes away from painting, I'm also not interested in the board itself anymore. Not that I don't like painting on the board. Hold on, let me see something. Board looks cool and all. Like, it's got potential. But I don't know. It just it needs something a little different. And like I said, it's 1:40 in the morning, and I was sitting here for like 20-30 minutes, and then I realized that sometimes we kind of just need to take a break from it and think about what could be done to it to make it better. And in this case, this might piss off some of you, but kind of just need to start over. So I'm gonna pour some gesso on here and I'm going to start fresh because I just don't like it anymore. It is what it is. And once the gesso's dry, back to stage one, which is the sketching. Very quick, loose. This time I'm gonna use references from the latest movie, which was great, by the way. You should watch it. Possibly up there for me, maybe my favorite. But yeah, sketching. And then when the sketch is done, you start in with the blocking as well. Same thing. I started off with the background and then onto the turtles, basic blue, green, browns, and then the color of the masks, of course. And then from there, we go into a little more detailed, a little more precise in the colors. Lighter greens, darker greens, shaping up the characters, making sure that the composition is good. You can adjust as you go. And the cool thing about acrylics is that you can always just paint over it and just keep adjusting as you go. I like to jump around my paintings. This is how I kind of let certain areas dry, and this is how I don't get bored of painting one specific area for too long, because then I overwork that one area and then the rest looks kind of bland and it discourages me from continuing. I use a lot of yellow and white in this painting to show the highlights, and for the darks, the shadows, I use blues and really dark greens. I don't do a lot of too much black, but if I do need it, I'm not afraid to use it. Lots of layers of paint here, lots of lights, lots of darks, adjusting the weapons and the characters themselves. For example, I brought out Leo's shell in front of Raphael. You couldn't see it at first. I thought it was gonna be one of those things that I keep behind Raphael as well, but it just didn't make sense. The composition just did not make sense. So touching up the background here, I didn't like how Donatello was looking, and then the backhand of Leo, so I painted over that. Like I mentioned before, really cool thing about acrylics, you can just paint over it and then get back to it when it's dry. So while it's drying, I'm gonna work back into the turtles, add more darks, more lights, shape it up more, tying up the shapes. If you notice, it's like slowly really coming together compared to how it was originally. When the background fully dries, I can go back in and paint Donatello. This time I'm going with a side angle holding a staff as if he's ready for action. And then same concept all the way from the beginning. Well, I messed up the staff big time. So gonna paint over that, wait till that dries, and then go back into the turtle and fix that later. I'm not a huge fan of painting with one color. Those monochromatic paintings to me are kind of a hit or a miss. It really depends on the subject at that point for me, but that's my opinion. I know a lot of people who love monochromatic paintings, but yeah, what I'm trying to say is that while I was working here, there's so much green that it kind of just felt that way sometimes. Adding the white where the eyes are supposed to be in the mask really helped with the proportioning the mask because it was throwing everything off. And then the warp of the skateboard was a little challenging because I had to bend the weapons and the characters a little bit, but it worked out. Here for the background, I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit, but not all the way, just around the characters. While that dries, I go back in, add in highlights. At this point, and my darks are as dark as they can be, so then I'm working a lot on light colors now. If I feel like it needs to get a little darker, I do so. For example, in the masks, and then I go back into the background and line it up a little bit more, and then I wait for that to dry and go back to the same process. Lights here, lights there, and then back to the background. A lot of back and forth. Just so you guys know, make sure you check out my website, jcarnesart.com. If this board is available, it will be there. If not, I do have a bunch of prints and stickers from a bunch of different characters available, so check that out. And I just do this same process back and forth until I feel like the background's complete and the characters are complete and it just feels right. Once I get to that point, the very final things to do are add in all the little minor highlights. Make sure everything's really bright. For that, I use very little white here and there, and then I add in black outlines and kind of add in those like little black details that really make it pop and give it that comic book painting look. And when that's done, last thing you do is my signature. Thank you guys for watching my YouTube video. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for the final shots. I'll see you guys soon.